We grow up thinking time is our master. The world trains us to chase milestones, to keep up with imaginary deadlines that decide who is successful and who is behind. We're taught that if something doesn't happen by a certain age, it's over. That mindset plants fear deep inside us, whispering that we're already too late. But time isn't your master, God is. The calendar on your wall doesn't dictate the destiny written in heaven. There are people walking around today who gave up on their dreams because they believed the lie of too late. They saw others achieve earlier, faster, louder, and they quietly buried their own vision. They forgot that God is not checking a clock, He's checking your heart. What looks like a delay to you might be divine positioning. What looks like you missed the moment might actually be God setting the stage for your moment. It's easy to measure progress by what's visible. It's easy to assume that silence means nothing is happening. But silence is not absence. While you think you're stuck, God is constructing. While you think nothing is moving, foundations are being laid under the surface. He does His best work behind the curtain, not under spotlights. We call it late because we only see the outside story, but God sees the inner preparation. He sees the years you've been growing in character, endurance, and resilience. Those unseen qualities are the very things that will sustain what you're asking Him for. If He gave it to you too soon, it would collapse under pressure. He delays to protect what He promised. The world might call your journey slow, but God calls it strategic. What you think is lost time is actually invested time. Every detour, every delay, every disappointment is part of a divine timeline designed specifically for your story. If it was supposed to happen earlier, it would have. If it hasn't happened yet, it's because He's aligning every piece for maximum impact. When you tell yourself it's too late, you're putting human limitations on a limitless God. You're shrinking His power down to your calendar. But God doesn't operate in years and deadlines. He operates in seasons and purpose. His timing isn't measured by clocks, it's measured by calling. Stop saying you're too old, too late, too far behind. Stop looking at how much time has passed and start looking at how much potential is still in you. If breath is still in your lungs, there's still destiny in your future. God didn't bring you this far just to watch you quit. The enemy wants you to give up before the door opens. He wants you so convinced that it's too late that you never knock again. But faith knocks even when the hallway is silent. Faith keeps showing up long after feelings walk away. You are not late. You are right where God can use you. We treat God's promises like they come with a best-by date. We think if they don't happen by a certain season, they expire. But His plan is eternal. His word is everlasting. What He spoke over your life does not spoil because of time. It waits. It waits until you are ready. It waits until the conditions are aligned. It waits until the stage is set. God's plan can survive your mistakes. It can survive your detours. It can survive the years you spent running away from your calling. He knew the roads you'd take before you ever took them. He factored in the mess, the doubt, the fear, and the failures. He wrote your story with full awareness of every chapter, even the ones you regret. We think delays cancel destiny, but they don't. Delays just shift the timeline, not the promise. You can be late to everything in life and still be right on time for the thing God designed you for, because what He made for you cannot belong to anyone else. No missed opportunity can erase what is divinely assigned. It's not too late because the promise never expired. The calling didn't vanish when you stopped chasing it. The dream didn't die when you doubted it. God's plan has been patiently waiting for you to believe again. The moment you align your faith with His word, what looked dormant comes alive. You've seen people rise late in life and still shake the world. You've seen people walk through decades of silence and suddenly step into purpose. That's proof that God's timing isn't about age, it's about alignment. When you step into alignment, everything accelerates. What you thought would take years can unfold in moments. Stop thinking your timeline disqualifies you. Stop thinking you're too old, too tired, or too far gone. God doesn't retire people, He refires them. He breathes fresh vision into dry places. He revives what the world calls dead. He renews strength in people who thought their season was finished. You don't need to restart from scratch. You need to restart from belief. God doesn't need time to create. He needs faith to activate. When faith rises, things move fast. He can redeem lost years in a single moment. He can catch you up where you feel behind. You're not late. You're just about to be launched. God's plan has been in waiting on your yes. It's been waiting on your trust. It's been waiting on your willingness to step back into what fear told you to leave. The plan still stands. The calling still calls. Every time you tell yourself you're not enough, you're arguing with God's decision to choose you. He didn't choose you by accident. He didn't pick you because you were flawless. He picked you because He saw something eternal in you, something greater than what people see on the surface, something stronger than your failures. We think our flaws cancel our calling. We think our mistakes mean God has moved on. But He knew about every weakness before He called you. He factored them in. He isn't surprised by what you struggle with. He knew about the insecurity, the doubt, the fear, and He still said, I can use you. You keep seeing what you lack, but God sees what He placed. You see brokenness. He sees potential. You see limitation. He sees destiny. He didn't ask you to be perfect. He asked you to be available. It's not your strength that qualifies you. It's your surrender. Stop replaying your failures as if they are proof you're finished. Failure is not a verdict, it's a lesson. It's the soil where resilience grows. It's the classroom where faith is tested and strengthened. You don't graduate purpose without walking through failure. When you count yourself out, you step away from the very place God wants to move. You disqualify yourself from blessings that were designed with your name on them. But you are not disqualified. You are still in the game. God's grace has already covered what your doubt tries to cancel. Your story isn't over because you stumbled. It's still unfolding. You are still breathing, still standing, still called. You don't have to understand how God will use you. You just have to believe that He will. He doesn't need your perfection. He needs your yes. You might feel invisible now, but heaven has not overlooked you. Every small act of faith, every quiet prayer, every hidden step counts. God sees what nobody claps for. He honors what nobody celebrates. You're not forgotten. You're being prepared. Walk like you're chosen even when you feel overlooked. Talk like you're anointed even when you feel unsure. Live like God's hand is on you because it is. You are not counted out. You are counted on. We live in a world obsessed with speed. Everyone wants success fast, results now and dreams overnight. But God doesn't rush. He's never in a hurry, yet He's never late. What seems slow to you is strategic to Him. He's not trying to meet your deadline. He's trying to build your destiny. We call it late because we only see the surface. But God sees the root. He sees the parts of you that still need healing, maturing, strengthening. He knows if He gives it to you too soon, it will crush you instead of bless you. So He waits until your character matches your calling. You might think you're behind because it hasn't happened yet, but delay is not denial. Delay is development. Every season you think is wasted is actually working for you. It's building the muscles you'll need to carry what's coming. God doesn't move according to your clock. He moves according to His calendar, one built on purpose, not pressure. When it finally happens, you'll realize it was perfectly timed, not a second too early, not a second too late. Waiting seasons can feel like punishment, but they are preparation. They stretch your patience. They strip away pride. They teach you to trust God when you can't trace Him. They make you depend on Him instead of on results. You are not late. You are being layered. God is adding depth to you that instant success could never give. He's building a foundation that can hold the weight of your future. He's not delaying you. He's fortifying you. Stop trying to rush out of the process. Stop trying to escape what's shaping you. Trust that the God who gave you the vision knows the perfect time for its manifestation. If it hasn't happened yet, it's because it's not just about what you get. It's about who you become. Your timeline isn't broken, it's customized. God isn't late, He's precise. And when His timing meets your obedience, what once felt delayed will arrive as destiny. We keep waiting for perfect conditions before we move. We wait to feel ready, to feel strong, to feel certain. But perfect conditions never come. If you wait for fear to leave, you will wait forever. If you wait for full clarity, you will miss the door God is opening right now. Destiny doesn't wait for your comfort. It responds to your courage. There is power in simply beginning. One small step can break the grip of fear. One small act can ignite momentum. The enemy's goal is to keep you paralyzed by overthinking, replaying the what-ifs, and drowning in hesitation. But the moment you move, fear loses its voice. The moment you act, heaven aligns. You don't need to see the entire staircase to take the first step. You don't have to know how it all works out. You just need to obey the next instruction. Faith thrives in motion. God meets you in movement, not in stillness. He doesn't multiply ideas that sit. He multiplies faith that walks. Starting small doesn't mean thinking small. The mustard seed is tiny, but it carries the potential of a tree. What seems insignificant to you could be the very seed of greatness. Start with what you have. Start where you are. Start even if you stumble on the way. Your mind will tell you that starting late means starting behind. But God is not bound to your timeline. He can accelerate what begins in faith. What should take years can happen in months when His hand is on it. You just have to stop delaying obedience. Fear will try to convince you that waiting is safer than failing. But waiting too long becomes its own form of failure. Nothing changes until you move. No doors open until you knock. No opportunities appear until you act. Start scared, start tired, start unsure, but start. Every step you take in faith sends a message to heaven that you trust God more than your fear. It tells Him you are ready for what He's been preparing. It unlocks blessings that sitting still would never reveal. You don't need more time. You need more trust. The longer you wait, the louder fear becomes. But the moment you move, momentum wakes up. Start now and let God multiply your movement. Regret is heavy because it chains you to moments you can't change. It makes you relive losses until you believe you are won. It paints your future with the brushstrokes of your past. But regret is not a prophecy. It's just a memory. It doesn't decide where you go next unless you let it. God never told you to carry regret. He told you to cast your burdens. Regret wants to anchor you to yesterday, but God wants to propel you toward tomorrow. Every moment spent replaying what you lost is a moment you could spend rebuilding what's ahead. Regret whispers that it's too late, that you've wasted too much time, that your best chapters are behind you. But God restores years the locusts have eaten. He specializes in redemption. He turns what was meant to destroy you into what develops you. You may not be able to rewrite your past, but you can redefine your future. God can breathe new meaning into what you thought was wasted. He can use the ashes of what you lost as fertilizer for something greater. Nothing is wasted in His hands, not even your mistakes. The enemy wants you to live in shame because shame keeps you silent. Shame keeps you from trying again. But grace says, get back up. Grace says, there's still more in you. Grace says, this isn't where your story ends. Regret is a prison, and faith is the key. Every time you choose faith over regret, the chains loosen. Every time you believe again, the weight lifts. You can either keep mourning what didn't happen or start building what still can. Don't let regret stop you from seeing what God can still make happen. The fact that you're still breathing means purpose is still active. You can rise from what broke you and build something stronger than before. There's beauty on the other side of surrender. Lay regret down and watch God replace it with restoration. Comparison is a thief that steals silently. It robs you of peace, joy, and gratitude. It makes you despise your portion while admiring someone else's. It blinds you to what God is doing in your life because you're too focused on what He's doing in theirs. Social media has turned life into a scoreboard, but God never called it a race. He called it a walk, your walk. When you compare, you start sprinting to catch people who aren't even on your path. You wear yourself out chasing timelines that were never yours. Their timing is not your timing. Their assignment is not your assignment. What took and 5 years might take you 10, but that doesn't mean you're behind. It means your story is different. Different doesn't mean less. Different often means deeper. Comparison creates pressure. Pressure makes you rush. Rushing makes you reckless. Reckless leads to regret. That's why comparison is so dangerous. It pushes you out of alignment with God's process for your life. God is not late because you're not where they are. He's intentional because He's preparing something specifically for you. He custom builds purpose. What He made for you cannot fit anyone else, and what He made for them cannot fit you. Stop scrolling and start building. Stop envying and start evolving. Comparison distracts, but focus multiplies. The more you focus on your lane, the more progress you make. Celebrate others without doubting yourself. Their success doesn't cancel your future. Their rise doesn't mean your fall. There's room in God's kingdom for everyone to win. Your lane is sacred. Stay in it. Water it. Walk it with confidence, knowing God is leading your steps. Faith rarely comes with a full blueprint. God gives instructions without explanations. He says go before He says how. That's what makes faith hard, but it's also what makes it powerful. Faith isn't about knowing. It's about trusting. You want clarity, but God offers presence. You want a map, but He gives you a compass, His Spirit. He doesn't want you to depend on the plan. He wants you to depend on Him. If you had every detail, you wouldn't need faith. Trusting God means moving even when your knees are shaking. It means saying yes even when logic screams no. It means walking into the unknown with the confidence that God goes before you. The unknown is uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar, not because it's unsafe. The place God is calling you to may feel risky, but it's protected by His hand. What feels like danger to you is destiny to Him. Fear wants you to wait until you're certain. But certainty isn't faith. Faith is stepping while unsure. Faith is moving while afraid. Faith is walking in the dark, knowing God is the light. Every hero of the Bible walked into unknown places. Abraham left home not knowing where he was going. Moses walked into Pharaoh's court with nothing but a word. Peter stepped out of the boat onto waves. Faith thrives where comfort ends. You will never experience the fullness of God's plan while clinging to certainty. If you wait for everything to make sense, you'll miss the miracle. The miraculous lives on the other side of the unknown. Step out even when you can't see the road. God will meet you in the middle of your uncertainty. Pain does not mean you're losing. Pain often means you're growing. Growth stretches, and stretching hurts. It pulls on parts of you that were comfortable being small. Pain is proof that expansion is happening. We assume that if it hurts, it must be wrong. But purpose and pain often walk hand in hand. The pressure you feel is preparing you for promotion. The breaking you feel is building capacity for blessing. Every storm you survive becomes the soil of your strength. Every scar carries a story of survival. What you thought would kill you is actual, equipping you Pain is not the enemy. It's a teacher. God never wastes pain. He uses it to shape your character, deepen your faith, and sharpen your vision. What breaks you also builds you. What hurts you also grows you. The enemy wants you to see pain as punishment, so you'll stop moving. But pain is not a stop sign. It's a sign that something new is being born. Don't quit in the middle of the labor. Sometimes the proof that you're on the right path is the resistance you face. If the enemy is fighting you this hard, it's because you're carrying something valuable. He doesn't attack what isn't a threat. Wipe your tears, square your shoulders, and keep walking. You are not weak because you feel pain. You are strong because you keep walking through it. What you survive becomes what you stand on. Pain is not your ending. It's part of your becoming. There's something unstoppable about a person who refuses to give up. Consistency might not be glamorous, but it's what separates the dreamers from the doers. Showing up when you don't feel like it, staying focused when distractions are pulling at you from every direction, that's the grind that forges champions. People will see your highlight moments one day, but they'll never see the nights you stayed up working while everyone else was sleeping. Consistency is what builds trust between you and your destiny. When God sees you show up faithfully despite the silence, He knows He can trust you with what you've been asking for. It's not about perfection, it's about persistence. You can fail, you can stumble, but if you keep showing up, life has no choice but to open doors. Consistency turns small actions into massive impact over time. Some people stop showing up because they don't see instant results. They think if the results aren't immediate, the effort isn't working. But growth doesn't happen on your schedule. It happens on God's. The seed doesn't sprout the day it's planted. It sprouts the day it's ready. And if you quit watering it before then, you'll never see what was buried inside you. You've got to be okay with being unseen while you're becoming. You've got to be okay with the applause being silent while your progress is loud. Consistency teaches you discipline, and discipline is the language of success. If you can stay consistent when you're tired, when you're doubtful, when you're lonely, you're already winning. There's power in the daily decision to keep moving, not rushing, not forcing, just showing up. Those daily steps create momentum, and momentum is a force few things can stop. It's what takes you from being overlooked to being undeniable. You don't have to be the fastest or the flashiest. You just have to keep coming back. Consistency teaches you how to endure disappointment without losing direction. It keeps your vision sharp when life tries to blur it. Every single day you show up, you make a silent declaration to the world, "I'm not done yet." And that declaration shakes the atmosphere around you. There's a version of you on the other side of your consistent effort that will make every sacrifice worth it. That version is stronger, wiser, and unstoppable. You can't get to them by being sporadic. You can only get there by being steady. And that steadiness is what makes breakthroughs possible. So keep showing up, keep building brick by brick, even if no one's clapping for you right now, because eventually the same people who overlooked you will ask how you did it, and your answer will be simple: I didn't stop. Life will knock you down, and sometimes it will knock you down so hard you forget what standing even feels like. But courage isn't about never falling. It's about standing up again when it would be easier to stay down. Every time you choose to start again, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than what tried to break you. Starting again is not failure. It's faith in motion. It takes bravery to face the pieces of what used to be your dream and say, I'll rebuild. It takes strength to stand on the ashes of what didn't work and declare, this time will be different. That's the courage that shifts the atmosphere. That's the fire that turns broken moments into breakthroughs. Starting again requires humility. It means admitting that some things didn't go as planned, and that's okay. It means releasing your pride so you can embrace your progress. The world will try to make you feel ashamed for starting over, but the truth is, some of the greatest victories are born from fresh beginnings. When you start again, you tell your past it doesn't get the final say. You tell every mistake, every delay, every setback, you didn't win. And that declaration rewrites your future, because God doesn't hold your past against you. He uses it to position you. Some people stay stuck because they keep waiting for the perfect moment to start again. There is no perfect moment. The perfect moment is the one you decide to move. Don't let the fear of starting small stop you from starting at all. Even the tallest tree started as a seed. Starting again reminds you of your resilience. It reminds you that you've survived worse and still have fight left in you. It reminds you that endings are often disguised beginnings. And when you take that first step again, you start building new momentum. Each time you start again, you grow stronger. Your muscles of faith grow. Your capacity to endure grows. And as you grow, the weight that used to break you becomes the weight that builds you. That's the beauty of resilience. So if life has knocked you down, take a deep breath, gather the fragments, and rise again, not because it's easy, but because your purpose is still alive. Vision is what keeps you moving when everything else says stop. It's the fire inside you that refuses to die even when the world goes cold. When you have vision, obstacles become detours instead of dead ends. You see beyond what is, and you live for what could be. That's what makes vision powerful. Vision gives your pain a purpose. It makes the struggle make sense. When you know where you're going, every sacrifice becomes worth it. Every lonely night, every hard decision, every quiet battle, you endure them because you can see beyond them. That sight gives you strength. Without vision, it's easy to settle, it's easy to shrink your dreams to fit your fear, but when you carry vision, you won't settle for less than what you were created for. You'll keep reaching, keep stretching, keep striving, because you know what's inside you is greater than what surrounds you. Vision demands focus. It forces you to tune out the noise of doubt and the chatter of comparison. It trains you to move with intention, not impulse. People with vision walk differently. They walk like they're going somewhere because they are. Vision also attracts provision. When you move with clarity, resources start aligning with your purpose. Doors you didn't even know existed will open. People you've never met will show up to support what God placed inside you. That's the power of seeing before it shows. There will be days your vision feels distant, even impossible, but hold on to it anyway. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Remind yourself what you're fighting for. That's how you keep it alive when reality tries to smother it. Your vision is not a fantasy. It's a glimpse of your future. It's a preview God gave you of what's possible. If you protect it, nurture it, and walk toward it daily, it will become your reality. So keep your eyes on where you're going, not where you are, because where you are is temporary, but where you're going is destiny. Regret is heavy. It will sit on your shoulders and whisper that you've wasted too much time, made too many mistakes, missed too many chances. But regret only has power if you keep looking back. The moment you decide to face forward, regret starts losing its grip. You can't change what you didn't know then. You can only do better now. Carrying regret won't rewrite your past, but it will sabotage your future if you let it. That's why you've got to release it, not because what happened didn't matter, but because your future matters more. Regret will try to convince you that you're disqualified, that because you messed up, you missed out. But God doesn't work like that. He specializes in redemption. He takes what you thought was ruined and uses it as the foundation for something new. Breaking free from regret means forgiving yourself. It means showing yourself the same grace you show everyone else. It means understanding that you are human, and being human comes with mistakes. But mistakes don't define you. They refine you. When you stop rehearsing the past, you make room to rewrite your future. When you stop asking, what if, and start asking, what now, you shift your energy from guilt to growth. That shift will unlock doors you didn't even know were in front of you. Letting go of regret doesn't mean forgetting, it means learning. It means extracting the wisdom from your wounds and using it to walk wiser. It means allowing your scars to tell a story of survival instead of shame. Every great comeback story begins with someone who decided to stop replaying their failures, someone who chose to start building instead of blaming. That choice is yours too. So release the regret, walk forward, even if your steps are shaky, because forward is where your redemption lives. The unknown is scary because it's unfamiliar. We want control, we want certainty, and stepping into what we can't see feels like losing both. But faith thrives in the unknown. It's in the places you can't predict that God does His most powerful work. When you embrace the unknown, you stop needing all the answers before you move. You stop waiting for the whole staircase and start climbing the first step. That's where growth lives, in the risk, in the stretch, in the leap. The unknown teaches you trust. It strips away your safety nets so you can discover you were never walking alone. It pushes you out of your comfort zone and into your calling, and that's where the magic happens. Most people never step into greatness because they're too busy waiting for guarantees. But there are no guarantees, only opportunities. And if you keep waiting for certainty, you'll miss the blessings waiting in uncertainty. The unknown is not your enemy, it's your invitation. It's the space where new doors open and hidden potential awakens. It's where you stop surviving and start becoming. Fear will tell you to stay where it's safe, but safe won't change your life. Safe won't stretch your faith. Safe won't reveal your purpose. Only stepping into the unknown will. Every giant leap forward starts with one uncertain step. That's how breakthroughs are born, not in the comfortable, but in the uncharted. So step out, even if your knees are shaking, because what's waiting for you is worth the risk. Settling is easy, it's comfortable, it's familiar, but comfort can be a cage if you let it be. The danger of settling is that it tricks you into thinking good enough is all there is when great is still calling your name. You weren't created to live small. You weren't created to barely make it. You were created to soar, and you can't soar if you keep clipping your own wings to fit into places you've outgrown. Refusing to settle means choosing discomfort over complacency. It means walking away from tables where you're no longer being fed. It means believing there's more, even when everyone around you has stopped reaching for it. People will call you ungrateful for wanting more, but that's only because they gave up on their own dreams. Don't let their fear become your ceiling. Refusing to settle isn't arrogance, it's stewardship of your potential. The longer you stay in places you've outgrown, the heavier they become. Settling will drain your spirit, dull your vision, and suffocate your purpose. Refusing to settle will awaken you again. Every breakthrough requires a decision. Stay where it's safe or step where it's scary. Settlers choose safety. World changers choose scary. Which one are you going to be? There's more in you than what you've seen. There's more ahead than what you've lost. And you can't reach it by sitting still. So stop shrinking. Stop playing small. Refuse to settle and watch how high you rise. Sometimes the greatest limitation you'll ever face is the one in your own mind. If you don't believe bigger, you won't reach bigger. Your faith sets the ceiling on your future. And too many people are living beneath their potential because they stopped believing it was possible. Believing bigger requires stretching your imagination. It means daring to see yourself beyond your current surroundings. It means speaking life over dreams that haven't even taken shape yet. You can't wait for proof to believe. You have to believe before the proof shows up. That's what faith is. That's what unlocks the doors you've been knocking on. Believing bigger will make people uncomfortable. They'll tell you to be realistic, as if settling for less is more realistic than trusting God for more. Don't let their small vision shrink yours. The size of your belief determines the size of your results. Small belief produces small progress. Big belief produces big breakthroughs. The only limit is the one you place on yourself. Believing bigger changes how you move. It shifts how you speak, how you think, how you prepare. It makes you act like you're already on the level you're reaching for. If you want to see something you've never had, you have to believe something you've never believed. You have to decide that where you are is not where you'll stay. So lift your vision, lift your faith, believe bigger, because God's plan is always bigger than your imagination. Timing is everything, but it's not your timing that matters, it's God's. And that's the hardest part, because waiting feels like nothing's happening, when in reality, everything is being prepared. Trusting God's timing means surrendering your calendar. It means choosing peace even when the clock is ticking. It means understanding that delay is not denial. While you're waiting, God is working. He's aligning the people, the resources, the opportunities. He's building the foundation so what He gives you can last. Impatience will whisper that you're behind, but you're not behind. You're being prepared. The waiting season is not wasted. It's where your roots grow deep enough to handle the weight of what's coming. Trusting God's timing teaches you patience, and patience builds strength. It strengthens your character so you can carry your calling without collapsing under it. When you try to rush the process, you risk ruining the promise. But when you trust God's timing, everything arrives right on time. Not early, not late, perfect. Trusting God's timing is not passive. It's active faith. It's showing up, doing your part, and resting in the truth that God will do His. So breathe, be still, and trust that what's meant for you will not miss you. It will find you right on time.